I had been seeing this girl, Mia, for a few weeks after we met on a dating app. She seemed sweet, a little reserved, but definitely intriguing. We had gone out for drinks a couple of times, and on our third date, she invited me to a party. She told me it was an old college reunion hosted by a friend of hers. I had no reason to think twice about it. The party was supposed to be at a venue she said was more private, a large house outside of the city. When I arrived, I had to stop at a gated entrance, which already felt out of place. There weren't any cars parked outside, and that struck me as odd for a reunion. Mia had mentioned that her friend, the host, was a little eccentric, so I assumed maybe he had just parked in the garage or something. When we walked inside, the house was massive, overly large for a typical reunion. It felt like a mansion, but something about it felt almost cold, even though the place was lit up. As soon as we entered, people turned to look at us. A few people recognized Mia and came up to hug her, but there was an unusual stiffness to their greetings. Then their eyes would shift to me, and I could feel their intense stares, like they were trying to figure me out. It was all too much. I tried to ignore it, but the atmosphere made me feel like I didn't belong there. As I stood in the living room, I overheard snippets of conversations, but they all seemed forced. Nobody talked about anything normal, like college or life after graduation. It was like they were all in their own world, disconnected from any real sense of time or place. And the people here, they didn't look like they were in their late 20s, which Mia had told me they were. Some of them looked much older, as if they had been living here for years, maybe decades. I tried to talk to Mia about it, but she was too busy with everyone else, and her responses felt off. When I asked her about the host, she said he was still getting things ready, but even though I was trying to get more information, she didn't seem to care. I made a comment about the oddness of the crowd, and she just brushed it off, saying that some of them hadn't aged too well, but I didn't quite buy it. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The whole vibe of the place was off. I felt like everyone was watching me, and the more I tried to blend in, the more it seemed like I was under a microscope. I excused myself, saying I needed to use the bathroom, but in reality, I was just looking for an escape. I wandered through the hallways, trying to find a way out of the room without drawing attention to myself. The house was eerily silent, with only the faintest murmurs of conversation coming from the other rooms. I stumbled upon a hallway lined with framed pictures, mostly black and white photos from decades ago, many of which seemed to be of people I didn't recognize. But one image caught my attention. It was a group photo from a college graduation, and Mia was in it. But she looked completely different. The photo looked old, much older than her actual age. I tried to shake off the unsettling feeling it gave me and continued down the hall. When I found the bathroom, I locked the door behind me and sat down, just to breathe for a second. I sent a quick text to my friends, telling them how uncomfortable I felt and asking how I could get out of there without making it obvious. As I waited for their response, Mia texted me, asking where I was. I told her I was in the bathroom and that I was feeling a bit off. I followed that up by saying I wanted to leave soon. She texted back, asking why, but I didn't respond right away. I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. Then there was a knock on the bathroom door. I froze for a moment, feeling a chill down my spine. I opened the door to find a man standing there, looking like he was in his mid-30s. He whispered to me, "You should leave. She's not who you think she is." I stared at him, not sure how to respond. He told me to leave before it was too late and added, "Trust me, you don't want to stick around." He glanced over his shoulder like he was checking for someone, then turned and walked back down the hallway. The warning sent a shiver through me. It confirmed all the suspicions I had been trying to ignore. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew I had to get out. I didn't even think twice. I just walked straight to the front door, avoiding eye contact with anyone. I could feel their eyes on me as I walked past, but I didn't stop. Once outside, I practically ran to my car, jumped in, and sped off without looking back. I didn't respond to Mia's texts when she asked where I went. When I got home, I did something I probably should have done sooner. I looked up her number, but when I searched it, the name that came up wasn't Mia. It was Olivia Grant. The address that came up was also different from the one I had picked her up at. My heart dropped. I'd never seen her leave the house after I picked her up, and now I realized she had been waiting outside both times. I sat there stunned, staring at my phone, trying to make sense of what had just happened. I blocked her number and sent her a simple text. I had to leave. I'm sorry. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. Mia, or whoever she was, wasn't the person she pretended to be. And the people at that party weren't what they seemed either.